Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with established trainer, esteemed trainer, Jamie Moore. Big word. It's only because we've made a joke about it before in the past. But Jamie, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. You?
Yeah, all the better for speaking to yourself.
Epic jumper, by the way.
I appreciate it. Shout out to Art of Football.
Yeah, we need to just let people know what we're talking about. That is an epic jumper. What about that for a jumper? Superb. That.
Should put some of your fights on a jumper, I think.
I'm well impressed.
Well, let's get into the boxing action. Very impressive victory for Chantelle Cameron the first time round. Was this a rematch you were expecting to be planning for, considering the way the fight went down the first time round?
Well, I mean, generally, I don't think... I thought Chantelle won quite emphatically last time. I didn't think it was close. I thought the cards was way too close, especially the draw. But I always expected Katie to take the rematch because that's the type of person she is. I think looking at her mindset, I said to Chantelle, asked me a few times, she thinks she's going to take it. And I said, yeah, she won't not take it because can you imagine the millions of people who look up to Katie Taylor, who she's inspired over the years, if the first time she has a setback, she goes, okay, I'm not going to revisit that and try and reverse it. It's not sending the right type of message out. So I always anticipated she'd take it. I don't think it's a good idea in terms of that type of move because I always said Chantelle, I felt at the beating of her in terms of style. I still believe that. And I know Chantelle can perform better than she did last time. I'm sure Katie will this time as well, but I don't think it'll make a difference. And I think Chantelle will win emphatically again.
Katie kind of said there, look, I wasn't at my best. How much of Katie Taylor do you think we did see in the first fight?
I think it depends. Katie might have felt like she didn't perform to her best, but I think that a lot of that was down to Chantelle allowing her to. She didn't give her the room, the time, what she needs to be able to dictate the pace and the control, the distance in the ring. Like her ring craft is so good generally, but Chantelle's got that type of style. What takes that away from you? She doesn't allow you the time to sort of control the ring. So I think maybe she is 37 and she's sort of not as quite as good as she was. But I think it was more down to the fact that Chantelle has got the type of style to give her nightmares.
Katie obviously looks to come forward, be aggressive, and get into those big scraps during those big moments during fights. And maybe you might think, game plan wise, to avoid those. But it seemed like Chantelle Cameron was getting the better of those moments in the first time around. So is it more advisable than it would be normally for Chantelle to get in those moments more in the second fight?
I think last time she just went with her and traded with her, and because she knows that she can do it because she's so strong. Chantelle's physically so strong, but she wasn't very smart about it. If she's a little bit smarter with it this time, and this is the stuff where I picked up on in the rematch where I know she can improve. If she's a little bit smarter, she'll still have the same success, but not sort of get clipped with silly shots in between because she's just showing Katie, I can stand and trade with her. If she's a little bit smarter, she can do a much better job.
Look, Dublin's a great place. I'm very much happy to be here. I'm sure everyone is. But why aren't we in Northampton or neutral ground like what Chantelle was saying?
Well, ask Eddie. Eddie said financially it made sense here. And who am I to argue? I'm not a promoter. I believe he would have sold it at the O2 in London. Northampton is probably too cold because I think they could have gone outdoors at the football ground. I know they did have conversations with the owners saying that they could do it there. But it is what it is. We're in Dublin. We've done it before and she'll come back and do it again.
In terms of Chantelle getting the victory and obviously overlooking a great like Katie Taylor, but what's on the horizon for her? What are the targets for her?
Nothing matters other than Katie Taylor because how disrespectful would we be to overlook a great like Katie Taylor? Who's to say she doesn't turn in one last great performance? We have got to treat this as that Katie Taylor is going to roll back the years and is going to put in a career best performance. And we've got to come up with a plan to beat that. So we can't for 1 minute start thinking, hey, if and when we beat her, who should we fight? That just can't come into... It's impossible to have that mindset because we need to concentrate on not just beating Katie, but beating the best ever version of Katie.
Respect that answer. Appreciate your response there. Just getting thoughts on a couple of other things. You got to thrive in the gym, of course. Just want to start off with Akib Fiaz. Tough fight there. You feel confident you get the win?
Yeah, listen, Belotti's a good fighter, but I've always believed in Akib. And you look through his record, we've matched him quite tough. He's only had 12 fights and he's been in some decent fights already. And this was to make sure that when he did step up, he had the lessons learned along the way to make sure he was ready to step up. So whatever Belotti brings in this fight won't be a surprise to him. He'll have ticked that box along the way up until this point. So that was the whole reason why we've done it. And it's nothing to do with Belotti or it's not the fact that we don't respect him. It's the fact that I've got so much confidence in Akib's ability, and yes, it's going to be a good fight, but I've no doubt in my mind that Akib will come out on top.
Jack Catchell training for Jorge Linares. Look, Linares not the fight he once was, but still a threat in the ring there, and Catchell will have to be on his P's and Q's to get the victory. Does he have to put in a big performance to send messages to get the big fights that he wants?
Well, maybe. I mean, Linares is not at his best, but he's still a massive puncher, and he could still take anyone out with one shot. So Jack can't afford to be, not on his game. He can't afford to switch off, and timing. Everything's about timing in boxing, and Jack deserves his opportunity. We did think at one point we might get the Prograis fight, because before Haney popped up and decided that he wanted to try and move up. But if they box first and then Jack gets the winner, or if that fight doesn't happen, but from what I've heard it's not nailed on yet, then we'll go and do this against Linares, and then I'd love Jack to fight Prograis. Massive respect for Prograis. He's a phenomenal fighter himself, but I believe Jack Catterall beats every 140 fighter on the planet.
Your brain on a couple of things. Let's start with Haney Prograis. Who do you favour?
Yeah, well, if it comes off, it's you see, Haney's a little bit sharper for me. Depending on what he's like when he moves up in weight, I'm assuming he's struggling at lightweight, and that's why he's going to move up. But you never quite know how someone's going to be when they move up in weight. And Prograis seems to perform better the better the fighter is in with. So it's a really tough ask. I'm not sure. Well, I'll answer one question. It don't really matter to me who wins. I believe Jack Catterall beats them both.
You watch Zhang versus Joyce too. There was an emphatic finish.
I saw the finish. I didn't see the whole fight. I saw the finish. And I've read stuff that he was a bit hesitant. He wasn't really letting his hands go Joyce like he has done in the past. So maybe he's just got to the stage where he's not spring chicken. He's a lot of miles on the clock. He's walked through so many big shots and toughed it out that so many times. Sometimes you just get to the stage where you lose that resistance, and when you're a fighter what relies on that, then he has to think long and hard about continuing.
The performances you've seen from Zhang, of these four fighters, which would you pick him to beat? Wilder, AJ, Usyk and Fury?
I don't know. I don't think I'd pick him to beat any of them, to be honest. Okay. I think Wilder's not the best boxer, but he has that equaliser, and I think the other guys have all around just got a little bit too much for him. So yeah, I wouldn't pick any of them over him.
I failed to mention Dave Allen. Crushing defeat for Dave, who felt like he didn't quite put his best foot forward in the fight. But a future still for Dave in the ring?
Well, listen, maybe at a lesser level. He's always a character. He's always entertaining. It's been difficult getting him sort of match fit, because obviously he's been out of the ring for so long, barring a little run out. It was 4 years from the David Price fight, so it's not ideal. But I like Dave. I've got a lot of time for Dave, and I seen on social media. I haven't spoke to him, but I saw that he said he was going to fight again. So if he wants me to help him out, I'll always help him out, because I just love him. He's such a great guy.
What's the difference between the Dave in the gym and the Dave in the ring? Where's that disconnect come from? Because he's always talked about being like, no one questions his ability of the fighters that he sparred. Why don't we ever see it in the ring?
Well, listen, there's to get form in the ring, you have to spar a lot. You have to be consistently. You have to have been boxing and stuff. And Fraser Clark's a well established achieved a lot as an amateur, so he's a well-rounded fighter. So maybe that wasn't the right fight for Dave to come straight back into after having all that time off. Maybe that was it. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and only time will tell. But maybe the better way would have been for him to come back at a lesser level and then build his way back up, because he's going from being inactive like that to going straight into a training camp and sparring and then expecting to be in your best form is probably not realistic.
Do you believe that they're all the best for November 25th and further dates?